Good morning, children. Today we are going to get acquainted with the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate in 1206 AD, Muhammad Ghori died and Qutbuddin Aibak declared himself the Sultan of Delhi. The Sultanate period lasted for about 320 years from 1206 CE to 1526 CE. This period in history is known as Sultanate period. This period saw the rule of five powerful dynasties: Slave dynasty, Khalji dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty, Lodi dynasty. Qutbuddin Aibak laid the foundation of Slave dynasty. This was the first dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate, which lasted from 1206 to 1290 AD. He was the slave of Ghori. After Ghori's demise, Qutbuddin rose to throne and became the first ruler of slave dynasty. As Qutbuddin and many of his successors were slaves or son of slaves, this dynasty was also called the Mamluk dynasty. Mamluk word in Arabic means a slave. He was the first independent Muslim ruler of northern India. He has to suppress both internal and external invasions simultaneously to hold on to his position. As a person, he was a kind-hearted and generous ruler. He was named as Lagbaksh because of his generosity. He was a great and courageous military leader. He was interested in architecture and he built two mosques, Adhai Din Ka Jhopda and Qubbatul Islam Mosque. He started the construction of Qutb Minar in 1192 but died before he could complete it. After Aibak's death, his son Aram Shah took over but was overthrown by the nobles. Soon it was taken over by Shamsuddin Iltutmish. He was a slave and the son-in-law of Aibak. He had to deal with many rebellions, but he was successful in defeating and executing most of them. His control was up to the Indus to the whole of Multan and Sindh. He was a slave and the son-in-law of Aibak. He is regarded as the real founder of the Delhi Sultanate. He consolidated the Delhi Sultanate by extending his empire to the Indus, to the whole Multan and Sindh. He shifted his capital from Lahore to Delhi. He is famous because he appointed the group of 40 trusted nobles called Chahalgani. He expanded his empire up to the Bengal. He also introduced the land revenue system of Iqtidari system. He completed the Qutb Minar in 1220, which was started by his father-in-law Qutbuddin Aibak. Iltutmish had many sons, but none were capable to be his successor. So, he chose his daughter Razia to be the next Sultan of India. Immediately after Iltutmish's death, his eldest son, Ruknuddin Firoz, ascended the throne. But soon, with the help of loyal nobles, Razia became the Sultan. Razia was an able and wise ruler. She was brave and powerful. She led armies in war and took action against corrupt nobles. But the Turks were not ready to be ruled by a woman and constantly conspired against her and eventually killed her in 1240 CE. Then came the period from 1240 to 1266. After the death of Razia, her brother Nasiruddin Muhammad ascended to the throne. Nasir, being a young and weak ruler, failed to control the situation. He turned towards Balban. Originally, Balban was a slave and also the leader of the Chahalgani. and his father-in-law for help. After Nasir's death, Ghiyasuddin Balban occupied the throne. He was the most powerful ruler of the slave dynasty. Balban came to power. He had to face a lot of troubles as the member of the Chahalgani refused to accept his authority. Balban adopted a policy of blood and iron to subdue every revolt. Though Balban was a successful ruler, his successors were weak and inefficient. As a result, the slave dynasty collapsed. Now, students, here are some questions. You have to tell the answers. Okay? Question number 1. Which was the first dynasty in the Delhi Sultanate? Question 2. Why the slave dynasty was called so? Question 3. Who completed the Qutb Minar and when? Question 4. Name the policy adopted by Balban.